Okay, if I'll try to start off and get a couple things out and keep us moving. As this is a really short week and we need all the time we can get. So if you guys could help me out a little bit, and you don't have to ask your questions real fast. Let's just hit them and go. Um, as I on the radio this morning, I had a chance to say it. About how we were disappointed that we didn't play better in this game. We had a chance to, in what wound up being a close football game, so many chances as always, and even with the plays that we were disappointed with, the opportunity was there, and we need to find our way. This was a game they did a good job of holding us down offensively. We didn't click like we want to, and we thought we could throw the ball like we had been, and weren't able to in this game. And so it turns out being a loss on the road that we really needed. So we're going to have to work our way back. I know that we're all tied right now, and so that just makes the point of every game being a championship game, more clear. This week coming up, we go on Thursday night, and we got to kick this turnaround in the butt and get going, and so that's what's at hand right now. So I know there's questions that you have and all that, and we'll get through them, but we have to turn our sights forward and get going on this game and get ready for the Cardinals coming in, who just come off a big time win of their own. So here we go. What do you got,
Joe?
Pete, last week you didn't think Russ was pressing. Do you still feel that way, or do you think maybe there are indications that he's trying a bit too hard right now?
I think that we made some mistakes in this game that just don't look normal for us, and there's the one play that jumps out at us is the interception when he could have taken off and run, and he saw something downfield and took a shot at it. That's an indication, that he could have taken what's in front of him. Russ and I both talked about, how you follow your instincts. Of the first opportunity, let's go take advantage of it and go to the next play, and that's an illustration of one play that was like that.
Jen.
Last time out, Arizona used some blitz and some pressure in the fourth quarter and overtime to kind of change the way that game was going. What's the key to making sure that gets identified and picked up in this game?
Well, they've continued to be a high pressure group here, particularly the other last couple of games. They're getting after it, so they're not going to probably change their ways. But we have to do right. We've got to make identifications. We've got to make our calls, and everything's got to work together. And it's all phases. It's not just the guys up front. It's Russ, fixing the protection. It's him making the right decisions. It's receivers adjusting properly, and all of that. So we got to do a good job. We expect to get pressure from them.
And then offensively, that was the most explosive game that you had played all year against Arizona. How do you get back to some of those, whether it's pass plays, run plays, or just the yardage?
Well, we got to function at a high level again. We got to get it all working. We need to continue to run the football. We need that as part of our offense, not as much as we need to do more than we did yesterday. And we want to continue to always work for the balance. I know all of the publicity has gone towards the throwing game, and Russ has had huge numbers starting this thing off. And we're still probably close to the highest scoring team in the NFL, and we expect to get back to that. And we need all of our offense to get that done.
Corbin.
Hey, Pete, it seems like Puna Ford has really taken a step forward rushing the passer the last couple weeks. Well, what have you seen from him on film that's allowing him to get more pressure on quarterbacks? How much has that benefited that front line?
He was really active. I'm glad you picked it up. He was all over the place, sideline to sideline. His quickness has shown up. We've been moving the front some, and he's taken advantage of that. He's a really good athlete, a good coordinated, quick athlete, and it helps him to get him on the move. And so with the movements, he's jumped out a little bit and he had a really good game yesterday.
Art.
Pete, relative to an average game this year from Posick at center, how well did Fuller fill in? And secondly,
relative to an average game, let's stay with that one first, okay? The two-part. Let me handle that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Kyle did fine yesterday. He hurt his ankle, and he's going to be hobbling a little bit today to get back for this week. We think he can make it back, but he did get banged a little bit, and he just toughed it out and did a really nice job of hanging in there. I thought we did as good a job as we've ever done, against Aaron, he's an incredible player and didn't get the marks that he normally gets. It didn't show up in the end results because they still got us sacked a few times, but he had a lot to do with that. So the second part is
pass pro in general. I think you touched on it.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Still have 5 sacks and 12 hits. Or
Yeah.
6 sacks and 12 hits.
Yeah, they got after us pretty good as the game wore on. The first half we were in pretty good shape. Felt like we were controlling it, and then we just there was a couple things that happened where we made a couple errors on that we need to do better at. And it's a good attacking group. They did a nice job outside rushing. We handled the inside stuff the way we had hoped to.
Michael Sean.
Do you have any more clarity on Shaquille's hamstring?
I'm sorry, I don't. We're gonna, we'll get out on the field today. It's the first time I'll get a chance to see him, see how far he's come. It's not clear yet, that he's back. We got to wait and see what happens the next couple days.
You said Quentin's knee has been a chronic thing. Would he be someone you have to put on IR?
We're not doing that right now. No.
Thanks.
Ben.
Hey Pete, what happened to Tyler and what's Tyler Lockett he's listed with a knee injury, and then what do you at this moment in time what do you think his outlook is for the game Thursday?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a knee sprain. In general, he's already had it checked out and MRI and all that kind of stuff. So he's a little bit discomfort, a little bit of swelling today, but it's not a serious knee injury. So we'll look to see how he does day to day and take it till Thursday.
And then just second thing real quick, who's your third string center behind Kyle Fuller?
Jamarco Jones.
Thank you.
Bob.
Yeah, well, just Chris Carson, Carlos Hyde, either of them. But where do you think you guys stand with those guys right now?
I'm told that Carlos is going to go today in our work. Chris is working to get it back. He's trying to make it. Carlos is a little bit ahead of him now, and so we'll see how it goes. I can't tell you what's going to happen Thursday night yet, but both those guys are trying hard this week to get back.
And you sort of mentioned it in your beginning comment, but trying to get the running game maybe going a little bit better. Where do you assess that has been?
Yeah, I want to balance this out more so. It has felt somewhat out of balance last couple of weeks, and I just like to get it back into shape and so everything fits together like we like it most.
Curtis.
Yeah, Pete, how did you feel that DJ Reed and the cornerbacks kind of handled that job yesterday, stepping up for Shaquille and Dunbar and everything, and just who you might have available there for you this week?
Well, we can do better. We had a couple mistakes that we made that hurt us, and we survived a couple too. But I thought DJ looked very good. He looked very quick and explosive. It's his first time playing for us, and so he made a couple rookie mistakes out there on stuff. But all in all, he looked active and physical, and I really liked the way he played. He looked great on the kickoff return and showed you his explosive way. And I'm hoping that he can continue to help us. He's been nothing but positive. Really, he's been playing the nickel game he played last couple weeks here. He's shown some really good stuff.
And is Nico going to have a chance to get back from the core thing, or is that an ongoing thing here?
He will not make it back. Nico's not going to make it back, unfortunately.
Tim.
Pete, how's Jamal's shoulder a day later, and then how would you assess the way he played yesterday?
He says he's playing. He's ready to go. He got banged up pretty good. He played really with one arm for the most part in the game and did a marvelous job of getting through it. There was a couple plays he couldn't make that he wished he could have, but it was just because of his arm. He played or his shoulder. He played really hard and got after it.
And then has Ethan Posick been cleared through concussion protocol yet?
He has not yet.
Greg.
Pete, how much does not having Carson affect Russell Wilson?
I don't know that. Pretty subjective, but I can feel it, I just think it's been a little bit different. And we got to make sure that like I've been saying here, we got to make sure that we stay balanced. We got to keep our game together.
Even when he was succeeding, throwing it all over the place, at least he had Carson back there as a threat. This isn't how you want to play offense. How important is it to get at least Hyde or Carson back to play the way you really want to play?
It's important to us. It really is. And if they're not able to, then we have to develop the other guys. We've got to make sure that we're going to it. And it's just part of the way we play. And it's felt a little bit different. And I'd like to get us back to, like I said, back to the kind of balanced approach that we've always had.
Is it possible in a division race to develop those guys, or I mean,
we don't have any
ship
choice.
sailed on?
We don't have any choice. That's all we got. I expect one of those guys. I think Carlos is going to make it for this week, and we'll see about Chris. That'll help us out. But in the meantime, I thought that we got really good play out of Alex. I thought he looked good. We can use him more and find more ways to make sure that he's a factor.
Thank you.
Brady?
Hey, Pete, with all the blitzing that you guys have been doing over the last 3 weeks, how have you felt like that has gone when you evaluate the pressure that you're getting, but also however vulnerable you feel like it's left you when you haven't got to the quarterback?
Yeah, it really, it obviously has helped us. We've hit the quarterback a lot more. We've had multiple sacks in the last 3 weeks that we hadn't had before that. So that has stepped up. It does make you vulnerable some. That was not a factor in the game yesterday. They had 8 explosives or something in the game. That's not a huge number. That's a pretty average number, so we're getting better at it. We're getting better at handling it, and I think we'll definitely continue to work it and continue to hopefully to improve.
Thank you.
Sure.
Jackie?
Hey, Coach, in the limited time that he was on the field, what did you think of Snacks and his play?
He held his own. First time, a little rusty. Played behind some blocks and stuff like that. But he played big like he's supposed to and filled up the middle pretty nice.
And then looking ahead to Arizona, do they look any different or some difference or similarities from the last time you faced them?
They look similar. They have a wide variety of things they do on both sides of the ball. So we knew them going into that game well, and so as we see it now, we've seen just more of the same, which is a lot of good stuff. They're very aggressive on defense. They've really committed to running the football. Kyler has been phenomenal in his effect in the games, not always just by throwing it, but quite a bit by his running. And he's just been really dangerous and really confident in doing the stuff that people have not been able to get to him much lately. And he's been very active. So it's the team seems very similar. Kenyon Drake got back to them this week, and Hopkins continues to do his thing, and Larry's doing his thing. So it seems very, very familiar, but really good. And they've been scoring a lot of points the last few weeks.
Thank you.
Joe?
Hey, Pete, just to clarify, on the injury report, Shaq's still listed as hamstring and concussion. Is he still in the protocol, or is he out?
I don't have him where they've told me he's out, but I think that's behind us, and it's really about the hamstring right now. Nobody said that he's. I think it's already taken care of. I don't know why it's still on there.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Right.
Tim?
Pete, the types of pressures that Arizona brought in the first matchup, how unique were those type of blitzes? And then how have you seen other teams maybe follow that blueprint the last few weeks against you?
There was really one thing they did that was pretty unique, but other than that, it was the kind of standard stuff that's been going on that we expect from them. They had something new that worked nice for them one time.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
I'd like
guys.
to point out that Bob Condota, it looks like you've really cleaned up the place. Looks good.